In this episode, we interview Rahsaan Jarrell, Executive Director and founder at Rhonda's Angel Network, an organization on a mission to empower our young women with a sense of pride and purpose. Alrighty, so thanks everybody for tuning into this episode. Today we have Rahsaan Jarrell, who's the Executive Director and founder at Rhonda's Angel Network. Rahsaan, thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome, Joseph. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. So per usual, we love to get started by just asking, what is a mission statement? So what is a mission statement of RANORG?
All right, so Rhonda's Angel Network organization is a nonprofit organization here in Chicago, and our mission is to empower young women ages 17 to 22 transitioning into womanhood with pride and purpose. We inspire young women to follow their dreams and to define their future success.
Yeah, awesome.
Also, our mission, we want to instill a rewarding mindset of self-respect through relationships and reflection in our young women as well, by eliminating negative stigmas that we see, on a daily basis in our communities.
All right, and I'm going to have a lot of questions about what you mentioned, but before we get into the details, why you? Why is this something that you're dedicating your time and effort into?
Well, first of all, I am a mother. I have a 22-year-old daughter, and over the years, she went away to college, and over the years, just watching the relationships that she's had with her friends and, seeing some struggles in our own community and being a teacher. I'm a teacher. I'm a full-time teacher also. I'm entering in my 25th year as a CPS educator.
Wow.
So I've seen.
Cheers to that.
Thank you. I've seen a lot. I've heard a lot and witnessed a lot. So I know there's a strong need for our young women to have positive influences in their lives.
All right. Perfect. So let's talk about the organization, the founding of it. So how long ago have you been founded, and what were some of the initial inception stories that you want to share, and some of the reasons?
Well, Rhonda's Angel Network organization is in honor of my best friend, Judge Rhonda Crawford, who committed suicide 5 years ago. So in 2020, I had this vision of starting a nonprofit to help young women out here in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically growing up. Rhonda and I went to high school together, so we knew each other over 30 years. And just knowing the background and knowing how she was so driven despite, our situations. She was very driven, and without her mentors, she could have strayed. It could have, she could have easily strayed, but she kept focused, and she was the one that sought guidance, reached out to others. So I wanted to pay honor to her by starting a nonprofit and mentoring program for young ladies to continue the legacy. Basically.
Yeah. What are some of the struggles that that young women are facing right now, or reasons why they could use mentorship and direction and help with transitioning into womanhood through mentorship?
Well, positive influences. There, a lot of times positive influences are not seen. They don't see it. They see the negative with reality TV and then social media. That stirs up a lot of drama. They need the encouragement to see that being a role model is a good thing. Having a role model is a good thing. Having guidance, following a straight and narrow path is a good thing. A lot of times they're so focused on not being a nerd or called a square or whatever else they want to call a lame or anything like that. They lose focus on having goals. They just want to live in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I've seen things, I've witnessed, I've heard stories, unimaginable stories from young ladies,
Mm.
my students, former students, who I still have relationships with. They tell me things, and I know over the years I've been that influence on them, but I wanted to have a way to actually branch out to more young ladies.
Gotcha. And have mentorship programs so we could have more people like you being connected with these young women.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like there some people, I mean, not maybe obviously not just young women, but sometimes people think they have to do it all themselves, right? And you don't have to do it all yourself. And whether that's kind of like a pride thing that some people have of wanting to do it themselves or not having somebody else to be there. There's tons of reasons why. I'd love to hear some of the stories over the past few years of maybe some of the mentors and mentees you've connected, and maybe how the impact's been, and kind of what has been the evolution of it. I know you're still newish of an organization, so you might not have a lot of stories over the short few years, but I'd love to hear some examples.
So far, we have hosted various workshops and events for young ladies to come and participate in, and the response has been amazing. I am proud so far of what we have hosted. We've hosted a vision board party, a couple of them, where the young ladies would come in and set their goals. We explain to them the purpose of a vision board is to set goals on what we want to achieve in the future, near future, extended future, but set the goals that you want to achieve. And a lot of times we've had adults join in
Mm-hmm.
because they hadn't experienced anything like this.
Yeah.
So that was a good positive influence as well. So we're getting ready to branch into starting our programming. So reaching out to the community, participating in different public events, such as the 17th Ward hosted over the summer, last summer. They had a Dancing on the Nine event. So we were a vendor there, reaching out and gathering information about young ladies who are interested. And so now this summer we are planning on hosting our first mentor mentee ice cream social to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
the interest, to build more interest. Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
Awesome.
yeah.
You
So,
mentioned. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. That sounds exciting.
yeah, it has been, and it's been a lot of fun for me, especially, but um, focusing on different things that like financial literacy, relationships, both internal and external relationships, interpersonal, and you know, and not just relationships with um, the opposite sex or someone that you want to build a one-on relationship,
Mhm.
about relationships with family.
Yep.
Because we know sometimes family relationships are broken, and we're trying to find ways to build that as well.
All right. Those are all really important topics. I want to go back to something that you mentioned of a lot of some examples you gave, or some of the young women are living in the moment, and I'm wondering. I've seen this, and I've heard this with different organizations that we've interviewed in the communities that they're serving, of kind of transitioning from living in the moment to thinking a little bit longer term. And a vision board is like probably a great example of sparking that thought process. Is it? Do you have an example, or is it a vision board like a great example of how you've seen to get in this example young women to think longer term? Like is because the argument is like, why would I think in the long term when like I just could be living in the moment or based on my circumstances? I don't have the luxury to think long term. Why would I want to think long term?
It gives them hope.
Yeah.
It gives them a way to think outside of the box, get out of their head, think that you can do it. You don't have to just think right now. Mapping out a plan, trying to figure out how can I do this? I really would love to have. I really would like to do.
Yeah.
So it gives them an opportunity to feel that they can. It gives them hope.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Financial literacy. What are some of the topics that you've seen taught in this space? Because I think this is an area that a lot of people could find useful.
Yes, absolutely. Basically, savings.
Mhm.
You don't have to teaching them that you don't have to spend every single penny that you earn. Investing, we want to teach them about that, especially investing. You don't have to live check to check. A lot of times in our communities, we don't see that. We
Right.
see we have to make it to get it, and it serves an immediate purpose, right? So to teach them that we can use our money for long term savings, long term purposes is a major goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's great. So, the young women that have come through your programming, have you been able to like track or document maybe how many people in the community that you've been working with? Or I'm sure you take attendance at like events that you host and everything. I'd love to hear if you've been able to annotate some of the quantity of women that have come through, or that you've worked with yourself, or mentors as well.
Okay, so first we have what's called our Angel Care program. The Angel Care program is basically us where we focus on. We have a toiletry drive, and we collect toiletries, and we actually bag them up into gently used purses, which is what we call our angel pouches. So we distribute them to young ladies, and over the past year and a half, we have passed out approximately 40 angel pouches.
Wow.
And it's whether we hand deliver them, or actually pass them out at some type of social community event.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the pictures and the responses that we've received, they didn't think that we would have quality products.
Yeah.
That was one of the responses. Wow, this is really nice. I didn't think I would get something like this.
Yeah.
So to hear that made me feel good.
Yeah.
Because, it lets you see that people they think that they don't deserve. That's the thing. It's like, you do. You have to know that you deserve it. You can have it. It doesn't have to be negative, and that's one of the things that really hurts me, is when you hear somebody's response and they feel like they don't deserve it. They didn't think that anyone cared, or they don't think that anyone would have given them anything. So.
Yeah. Two questions on that. What do you think has causes that mindset, and how have you worked with the young women to kind of overcome it?
Oh, sometimes it causes just their upbringing, but their surroundings. They hear it. Sometimes they hear it at home. They hear it out in the streets. Sometimes they see things, so that could be one cause. Yeah. But like I said, if they're surrounded by people who can guide them in a positive direction, that's my main goal.
Yeah. Wow. What are your hopes in the future that Rhonda's Angel Network could grow into? Are you plan on? I think we mentioned pre-recording that mentors. You're trying to get more mentors involved in the organization as well, to keep expanding kind of your impact. I'd love to hear about some of the future plans?
Well, we are now, when we first initially started, our population was to focus on 17 to 22-year-olds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've had people reaching out saying, asking, well, oh, I really need that too. And not just younger girls,
Mm-hmm.
but I've had young women up to age 30 who have been asking, well, how I need a mentor also. I never had someone, I never had a program, I never was involved. Is
Right.
it possible? So we have been in the talks of expanding our age ranges and breaking up our program into 2 different levels.
Yeah.
So that we would have like an 11 to 16-year-old, which would be our princesses,
Mm-hmm.
like our junior group. And then we would have our queens, who would be our 17 to 30-year-olds.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's one thing that we're in the process of working out right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we would like to expand to where we would host an annual retreat for our girls. So that's that's one of the main goals, to have each year prior to the summer, our summer break,
Yeah.
to host a retreat for young ladies to enjoy, where we would go away for a weekend. And that's another thing. So many times we take advantage of being able to, we just go, we go. But a lot of times people in our community don't leave the community. They've never been out of the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as an educator, I know that to be very true. Just going on field trips.
Mm-hmm.
When we go on field trips, some of the kids are like, oh, wow, I've never been on Lakeshore Drive, or I've never been, downtown. So, yeah, that type of exposure is what I really look forward to.
Yeah. 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 But it's a great experience too for the young ladies, for the princesses.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Wow. That's exciting. So one last thing I wanted to chat about, and I probably should ask this earlier, but say I am one of the young women that has found your program or been told about your program. What would be the process for me first to sign up? And then what should I expect going through your programming? Like what's the kind of the annual plan, or like what are some of the main programmings that you do in kind of an order? And I'm not sure how you have it structured, but I'd love to hear, like, if I'm a young lady, I'm curious, what would be my experience be?
Give me a call. First of all, you can give me a call. You can visit my website. So I can be reached at 312-772-9191. So that's the initial contact me.
Yeah.
Let me know you're interested. You can visit our website, fill out the contact us information form. Our website is ranorg.org. You can visit us on social media.
Mm-hmm.
That's all forms social media platforms at RAN Organization. And we can set up an initial meeting where you can come in, you can meet me, and we can have a discussion. Just, a little chat about what you're interested in. Okay. And like this summer, like I said, we're going to have our first ice cream social.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll be invited to that, to meet some of the volunteers who will be working with us.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. And then the pairing of mentors, after, like, on your call, I'm assuming you'd try to get a feel for what the young woman is looking for, and then you'd pair them or work with them yourself or what have you.
Yeah. We'll have we have a form that we would like, like an interest form.
Yeah.
They're interested in, so we could best match our mentors and mentees together.
Yeah.
We want them to have common interests,
mm-hmm.
So they could enjoy the experience together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so you shared where we could find you. What type of engagement do you look for, maybe outside of course, the young women who want to be involved? Are you looking for mentors? Are you looking for volunteers? What type of course, like donations, of course, are always welcome. So what type of engagement are you looking for?
Yes, actually, yeah, we're looking for mentors, and we're also looking for volunteers for some of our future events. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. So, for example, next week we're hosting our mental health awareness walk. So, if people want to participate in that, it's just a small walk where we just gather together at Lynn Park at 10 a.m. on Saturday, May 20th.
Mhm.
So, yeah, we'll be at Lynn Park, which is on 59th and Damon here in Chicago. And so that's the first one. And
Yeah.
then we also have our community resource fair coming up. We're having hosted our first community resource fair here at our new location,
Yeah.
2637 West 79th Street. And at that event, we'll be introducing everybody to different ways that they can actually be involved, whether it's through being a mentor, mentee, or volunteer,
Mhm.
or a sponsor, a vendor, any of those levels.
Yeah. 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 What's an example of a sponsor or a vendor that you've had? Yeah.
So last year we hosted our ribbon cutting ceremony,
Mhm.
and at the ribbon cutting ceremony we had several vendors who actually were there to sell their items,
Yeah.
introduce their small businesses. So all of the vendors last year were small businesses,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, uh, small Chicago entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for the community resource fair, we are in hopes of gaining more exposure and more sponsorships.
Yeah.
So we will have a dental program here, different medical professionals who will be providing on the spot wellness checks,
Mhm.
health checks. So yeah, this is going to be a
Yeah.
big one.
Yeah.
This is we're very excited.
And you
We're
mentioned,
still in the planning phase. It's like,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned new facility, and I forgot to ask about this. What you're sitting in it right now? Talk to me about that process and where you're sitting.
So we moved into our office last year,
Mhm.
actually a year ago, exactly 1 year ago. And I was thinking, okay, this is perfect. I have two offices, and then we had our large meeting
Yeah.
space. And then as we were having more and more events, we realized, oh, this is crowded. This is not as big as we thought it was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once we moved, I mean, we had to make the decision. Are we going to stay? What are we going to do?
Yep.
So we just decided we're going to go for it. We're going to go ahead and take a chance and move
Hmm.
into a bigger location. So we still have our boxes and trying to get unpacked because we just moved in last week. But yeah, it's like triple the size. So it is much bigger,
Yeah.
and we're very excited because we're growing.
Yep.
That just means we're growing. Yeah, so
Awesome.
it's very
Well,
exciting.
no, congrats. That's huge. That's huge. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. I think I asked most of the main questions. Is there anything maybe either that we didn't cover, or is there anything that you want to leave us with before we wrap up here?
Well, as I said, we are a new mentor program, so we are really getting ready to really hit the ground
Yeah.
running this summer. So I'm very excited about that. And if anybody wants to reach out and, like I said, be a mentor, a mentee, a volunteer, or anything, a
Hmm.
sponsor, we are great. We're really appreciative of all of our sponsors in the past, and we are looking forward to building even more relationships and sponsorships in the near future.
All right, will do. Well, Rahsaan, thank you so much for your time and hearing what you are doing and the impact you're having on young women in your community. We're honored to share this story, and people that are listening, get engaged, whether you're a mentee or a mentor or a vendor or a sponsor. Help them out for their upcoming events and their new facility. We really appreciate it. And thank you so much, Rahsaan, for your time today.
Thank you, Joseph, for having me.
All right, thank you. Thanks for tuning into this episode. If you know of a great organization or individual leaving a positive impact, we'd love to tell their story. Check us out and contact us at gtzp.org. Don't forget, for more stories like this, you could also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Instagram followers are link trees in the bio. And for podcast listeners, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thanks for listening, and see you again soon.